loud. I'm loud just in general. My voice.
Right,
like,
right.
Our music is loud. Our food smells loud. Like, everything is just like, I'm in your face. Like we said earlier, some people might think we're aggressive, but like, we just loud and proud about it.
Absolutely.
We're passionate.
Passionate.
I love that.
Hi, thank you for joining yet another episode of Get Set with Lissette. This is where we have inspiring conversations that empower you to get set. And today is a special Happy Hispanic Heritage Month Latina edition. And I'm sitting down with 3 powerhouse Latinas. The panel that I have with me today include Mita, who is the owner of Evie's Balloon Creations and also Mita's Kitchen. Leslie, owner of Delightful Company and also co-founder of Raíces Creativas. And my girl, y'all have seen her before, Nina, who is the owner of Creative Chris Photography. These are 3 dynamic Latinas doing the darn thing. So, hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello.
I cannot say how excited I am to have this conversation. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, right? Also, in that same regard, I'm going to shout you out, Mita. Is it or is it not? This is 5 years of Evie's Balloon Creations.
Yes, it is. 5 years today.
5 years today. So happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I just had an anniversary for my 1 year for this podcast. So I know how important it is and how also hard it is to keep that first year going. So 5 years, that is something to celebrate.
Yes, it is.
And you're still going and now you've added another venture.
That's right.
So this is amazing. And then I always say before I get things started, I just want to kind of like get the nerves out. We're talking all things Latino. So this rapid fire today is going to be, this icebreaker is a little Latino rendition of my typical icebreakers, all right? Don't overthink it. I want y'all, the first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Ready.
We're going to go 1, 1, 1. Each one, give me your thing, all right? So, café con leche or café negro?
Café con leche.
Café con leche.
Café con leche.
I know that's right. Ain't nobody drinking black coffee here, guys, because I also am café con leche. Reggaeton or salsa?
Salsera.
Reggaetonera.
Salsa.
Salsera. I had to
know.
think for a second.
I'm
I'm like, nah, you good. I love me some reggaeton. We'll talk about Bad Bunny later. But, all right, here we go. Are you speaking Spanglish or español completo?
Spanglish.
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 I'm Spanglish as well. We not gonna lie here, guys. I know how to hablar español completo, but Spanglish all day. And do you stay close to home or are you traveling the world?
Traveling the world if I can.
I'm going to cheat both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay close to home.
You staying close to home?
Yeah.
And I'm a cheat. I'm going to go both. I love traveling, but I try my best to stay close to home. And here we go. Are we remaining traditional or are we breaking the mold?
Hard one. I'm going to say, can I be in between?
Okay.
Stay in the tradition, but also at the same time breaking the mold.
Okay.
I'm going to say break the mold. I'm going to go. I'm going
You
to
you all in. You going in. Okay, you breaking the mold. I love it.
Definitely in the middle. I agree.
You're in the middle?
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna be with Leslie. I'm breaking the mold here. I feel like we're breaking the mold here. Got some traditions that I love, so I understand the middle ground. But man, we breaking that mold here.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. All right. So how we feeling?
Great.
Good.
Good.
Saucy.
That got you feel a little saucy, feeling a little good. You feel good? Yes. All right. So the first question to kind of get this conversation started is, I just want to ask each one of you, what does it mean being Latino? Like, what does that mean to you personally? And like anyone start and then each one kind of go from there. Like when you think of like what it means to be Latina, personally, what does that mean to you?
For me, it means pride. I'm proud to be Latina.
Okay.
I'm proud to do things that maybe our families couldn't do or weren't able to do. And I just love being Latina. I just think it's powerful. We know 2 languages.
Absolutely.
We have so much culture. And it comes from everywhere. It just doesn't come from, like, I'm Puerto Rican, so it doesn't just come from Puerto Rico. I grab some of the Mexican stuff. I grab from different things.
Ecuatoriana over here. Exactly.
Yes.
being Latina for me, like you said, is very proud and is loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Proud and loud.
big colors, bold. I'm loud just in general. My voice.
Right,
Like
right.
our music is loud. Our food smells loud. Like everything is just like, I'm in your face. Like we said earlier, some people might think we're aggressive, but like we just loud and proud about it.
Absolutely.
We're passionate.
Passionate.
I love that.
That's exactly it.
Passionate.
I love that.
It's colorful. Being Latina is colorful, it's cultured and flavorful. And we have such a strong history. And I just love everything about it.
I agree. I always used to joke, but I mean it so much. I was like, God made me Puerto Rican and he knew what he did with it because I can't imagine being anything else. Like,
Right.
there's something, and Leslie, you said it about, and well, all of you have literally talked about it as far as like what it means to be like loud and proud, the passion that we carry. And for me, it doesn't matter what part of Latin America you're from. It's a diverse diaspora of what makes Latinos, but then also like there's certain like just cultural pride that we all carry. And no matter where you come from, you can all find a sense of like unity in just finding a sense of comfort in each other when it comes to like family, like familiar traditions, being close to each other, being loud and proud as far as like our colors, our music, our food, like everything about our culture comes from, if you think about it, so many different places. And yet they're almost universal when it comes to like Latinidad in general. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, I always say this to myself, to my kids, in any life, I would choose always to be Puerto Rican.
I mean, just Latina in general.
Just
but
in general,
yes, I agree. So
And I wanted to say, like, I
Yeah.
also feel like being Latino is a mix, right, between in being indigenous, right, to
There-
our lands, then our colonizers and what they brought, and then also like the influence from Africa, like
Yes.
our African brothers and sisters who came over and then created this whole diaspora as well. Like we're such a mix and a blend, and it looks different, like we said, it between borders and across all cultures and traditions, but it really kind of has a similar foundation.
absolutely.
kind of
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You said it beautifully.
She said you said it beautifully. But no, I agree because it's that, and that was I was gonna like lean into that as well, because there is something to be said about being Latina in general, right? But then to be a Latino, it means that there's a little bit of each one of those things. There's for individuals, like you've got different indigenous cultures. There's different individuals, whether it's Tainos or Azteca or, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different like roots that come from it. African brothers and sisters, like you said, and
We come
having
in all
that, and we
different
come,
colors and all different
Hello.
shades, and
you can't
we're
tell.
beautiful people.
Yes.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it's not about what a Latino looks like. There's something about having just the pride within that I feel like just naturally comes out. And that to me is like what's beautiful. Now,
And it's our hair too.
girl, we're not going to talk about hair, but hey, hold on now. Because that is a real thing. Now, I can't speak for each one of you, but I believe it to be true. Most of us are first generation family members here on like the mainland USA. Like I know my parents were born in Puerto Rico and were raised in Puerto Rico, and I feel like that's across the board. So in being first generation, you too? I got you. In being first generation Latinas, how did that shape like your childhood and then also like the world view? Coming from like first generation to where your parents come from to now being raised and born here in the US.
I feel like when I was younger, I'm sure I was not the only one that had this experience, but when I was younger, like I felt like I didn't belong here nor there. We've heard that a lot right now, like amongst young people, like not feeling like here or there. But as an adult, I embrace that now because I'm like, well, I'm from everywhere. You know, like American culture, you know, modern culture here, but then also I have my traditions from my family and my culture back at home. And I think it creates this like beautiful sense of like empowerment and strength. Like, well, if I can go anywhere,
right,
and I'm not from here nor there, I have a little bit of everything, then I can show up anywhere and be confident and strong.
Ooh,
You know?
I love that. Like if I'm literally not from here nor there, I'm everywhere, then I can still show up 100% me and be confident in that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I feel like in the era that I grew up in, that I was able to embrace who I was.
Ooh.
I don't feel like I had that I didn't know where I belonged.
Okay.
Because I always knew who I was.
I know that's right.
You know, and I just think that's like from my mom and my father. And the time that we grew up.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true
that
too.
we didn't have those issues of not knowing. Now, did we have to, how they say, become a part of the melting pot?
Like that
where-
assimilation.
The assimilation thing, and become a part of that melting pot. And that's why, like, say, for instance, my family digressed from speaking that Spanish in the home, where I wish they would have been like, hey, only speak Spanish in this home.
Absolutely.
So I could have continued to carry that throughout.
Right.
That wasn't it. You had to
Okay.
be a part of the melting pot. And I wish that and the new generation would bring their own ingredients.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, Mita.
That's how I feel. And that's what I want to do. And, you know, my kids don't speak Spanish,
Okay.
but I want them, I'm trying to teach the grandkids.
So you're like, I didn't necessarily do it with my kids. And that's also more than likely part of because of how you were raised. So you kind of like took that, you took what was happening within your own childhood and upbringing. That's how you raised yours. But now reflecting back, you're like, there's a certain essence and importance to speaking the language, knowing your native tongue and ensuring, well, I say native tongue loosely, but you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
knowing exactly like who you are. And so now for your grandchildren, you're imparting that language to ensure that they grow up with it. I actually
Trying
love
to.
that.
Trying.
Yeah, I love that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree though. Being first generation, your parents stepped off the island or the country, and they came here, and it's like then they had to be part of that melting pot. They had to learn English. So it was when we came to this world, it was no, speak English. You're going to learn Spanish, so that's still part of you. But that's where we kind of like that Spanglish, we're like in that Spanglish gap.
Right.
And so then, of course, my children, they don't speak Spanish. So as an adult, like you said, I'm over here trying to make sure that I'm ingraining that in them and just like, okay, even though, you didn't learn it from young, like, let's learn now and let's learn together. Just this is how I learned. I had to learn through listening to my parents' conversations and learning what an onion was. It was a cebolla. So like those were the little things the ways that I learned as a child. And then now teaching my kids, I'm like, I'm going to teach you the same way that I learned.
Yeah.
You're going to learn the fruits, the vegetables, the alphabet. And then we'll go from there because after that, honestly, school can help you, bring that grammar together when they take Spanish classes and stuff. So
I find that so interesting. And I think my experience was a little different because of my mom. So my mom, they moved from the island, from Puerto Rico to Philadelphia when she was in like the 5th or 6th grade. And so she is the one that, in my opinion, while yes, I'm a first generation that was actually born here, she grew up having to go through learning the language, ensuring that she understood it and everything else. And so she actually speaks really good English, whereas my father came here at like 18, 19 years old. And so it was a different experience for him. But both of them together, when I was growing up, there was an importance of speaking Spanish from my mom side. Like she wanted to ensure that my sister and I could communicate with my grandparents in Puerto Rico. We had and I look at it like we had the privilege of making a family trip every other year to go visit my grandparents when I was younger, making sure. And my mom's one of 9 and my dad's one of 10. So I have a huge family. And in that, of all of my cousins and everything else, my sister and I speak the most Spanish. And I think it's because of my mother's experience, whereas where my dad would have probably maybe want to ensure that we speak the language because he had a harder time learning it being older. With my mom having come here at a younger age, she understood, like, you guys are resilient. You're going to figure it out. You're going to be able to, when you're young, understand the two. That's how she grew up. So she really was like, oh no, y'all going to speak both of it. But then it was me who chose to stop. And I don't know why that is. Have any of you ever in your childhood, like, I went through a span of time and I can't even remember like the why behind it, but like I refused to speak Spanish. And again, where my mother would ensure that we did speak it, because again, she was real big on like, no, y'all gonna speak both. She would speak to me in Spanish and I would respond in English, right? And she'd be like, Lissette, speak Spanish. And I'm talking a good few years from like 9 to 10 to like my early teenage years. I didn't want to speak Spanish. And I don't know where that came from, the why behind it, inner workings of my own like self-doubt or whatever it is in my childhood, which is hence the question. But like, did any of you go through any of that?
I like not necessarily like exactly like that, but it was just kind of like a habit.
Okay.
It was not that I was ashamed to speak Spanish, but because I didn't quite know grammatically how to say things.
Okay.
I would just respond in English because I mean, I understood everything, but just responding to them. So it's just like, okay, I'm going to have to do a self-teaching thing when it comes to like learning the grammatics, you know, of Spanish. Then I'm going to have to figure that part out eventually.
Mine was like, I was like boycotting it. I don't know what I was doing like in my childhood. And I don't even know the why.
I never had that experience.
Really?
No, so that's so
I'm
interesting.
alone here.
But I'm assuming, you know, I wasn't boycotting Spanish, but I was trying to assimilate so much like my white friends. Like all my girlfriends growing up were white. They were half Spanish, half white, half black, half white. And then one was just like white Italian. And I was trying to be like them so much.
Okay.
My culture, everything, food, what we did, activities. I just wanted to like fit in.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's kind of around those
similar-
same
That's what I'm
times, like
thinking.
similar teenage years. Like
Yeah.
we just didn't want to
We wanted,
be different.
and how crazy is it when you look back, and what does that mean as a child when you come to this place or space and you know that there's differences, and in your adulthood you can celebrate that, right? Yeah. We celebrate it. We've all said that it's loud, proud, like that is what it means to be Latina now. But when you're trying to find yourself and you're in those like formative years,
Yes.
we tend to want to go to our
Yeah.
Americanized, like, you know, traditional.
I was going to say, I feel that because as a kid, it wasn't so strong, you know, like I wasn't necessarily connected to it because it wasn't a choice yet.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Elaborate.
It wasn't a choice. It was like, I'm this is my family, you know, they're a Puerto Rican family, but I didn't know what the importance was until I became a teenager. And then as an adult, it's so much stronger now that I embraced it in every possible way. And I look back at my childhood and I'm just like, I'm glad you found yourself. Like this,
Girl.
definitely.
That part, I'm glad you found yourself, because this is a huge part of our identity. Mm-hmm. And I do think, because you said something earlier, Mita, that I want to kind of expand on, because we're closer in like generation wise. You and I especially are the exact same age. You're a little younger. But either way, you had said growing up, like you didn't feel certain things. And I do think that in the 80s and the 90s as a child, like there was a different experience of childhood. And I do believe that there was a certain level of like celebration when it came to being like you. I love how things go in cycles, but whereas then there was like a push to it. And then the more popular music was pop and, you know, boy bands and stuff when we were growing up. Right. But like you grew up in the time when like there was like
everybody got along. Everybody was, we didn't have those worries.
Yeah.
We could be ourselves, you know?
Right.
We didn't have to be ashamed of speaking. Well, I didn't speak much Spanish, but when I did, my friends would be like, well,
speaking more. What are we doing?
How you say that? How you say this? Or, you know, for the little bit that I known. But I just think in my generation, it was more love. Mm-hmm. Or the beginning, because people were starting to say, I don't care if you're this or that.
Yes.
We're people. We're human.
You know what I was thinking too? And it also goes off of when your family came from the island, for specifically because I think back, my sister's the oldest one out of all of us, and she's very ingrained. The girl moved back to Puerto Rico. Let's just say that.
I know that's right.
I would love to go back.
That's right.
Right?
That's
but so
bucket list.
My parents came to the U.S. in the mid 70s, so I feel like the first children, you know, of the 70s that were here, you guys had that richness still. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking about it because in all of us, we would have been growing up closer into like the 90s, maybe 2000s type of thing. And I think that in that, so it's like, I'm finding it interesting as we're speaking that I'm making that connection where it's like there were different experiences in different decades based upon where even the country was. Because music back then had like Latin flavors, the Gloria Estefan's that was still mainstream. Selena was mainstream. Like there were so many.
You still had the orchestras. You still were using the gongas, the trumpets, the guitars, and all that stuff.
That was the music
That's how I grew up.
Exactly. And main culture celebrated that. Whereas when we started to have our childhoods, that was not mainstream any longer. It had moved into a different place. And so I'm starting to think about our childhoods. There was a certain level of pushback because that wasn't considered mainstream. So now you're like fighting within yourself as a kid on this is who I am, right? And this is my family. But then this is my friend group, my peer group, and this is what's mainstream. And then how do you choose and how do you know what's what? Like I'm making that connection as we're speaking because there's every decade, there's a different experience on what it looks like to grow up being exactly who you are.
And y'all have kids.
Yeah.
You don't have kids.
do
Y'all
not.
have kids, so I don't have kids either. And so y'all are seeing another generation growing up right now. I can't even imagine what that experience looks like with identity. I mean, yeah, I have no idea.
Growing up, I was able, if I went to Abuelita's house, that, you know, it was all Spanish in there. And of course, like you guys were saying, when Abuela spoke in Spanish, I understood everything.
Right.
But I also spoke to her in English.
Yeah.
And she understood, but she would not speak English. You know, and when she did, they weren't the good words, you know?
Amen. We know. And how about that? And this is just like off topic completely, but I've got family members that have been living here for 30 plus years and still will not speak English for nothing in the world. Does anyone else have any family members like that?
Yes.
I've got family members that literally, I'm talking, y'all spent more time here on the mainland than you did on the island and you still refuse to speak English. Like 30 plus years and you know English. Like we're not going to act like you don't, but they will sit there and be like, no sé.
Yo no sé inglés. Yo no sé inglés. No me habla de eso.
No me habla eso.
Yo no sé eso.
Like, and they don't. And I'm like, and then how does that also reflect? Now, mind you, I didn't have that experience. Like, but have any of you ever had to like translate for any family members? Like, was that ever an experience with any family members?
100%.
And what are the challenges in that? Like, what did that look like?
Translating documents, translating at appointments, translating even within family, like the immigration process.
Absolutely.
Understanding what's going on.
Right.
They got a phone call. What does this mean? My grandma just recently passed away about a year and a half ago. Blessings. And, you know, on my tias and everybody was just trying to navigate like doctor's appointments and everything. It's interesting.
And like, how does that form you as a kid when you're the one that's being pulled into, what are they saying? Translate now. And you're like learning it from the language on what they're saying. And then you have to be the one to translate. Like, what does that experience look like? Because again, I didn't have that, but I want to like, for those that did.
So my dad raised me as a single parent around the age of 13. And so he was the one that spoke mostly Spanish.
Right.
So I remember there were times where I would have to help translate things and help him understand something. And I don't know, for me, it was exciting.
Okay.
I felt excited because I was like, this is my opportunity to like learn. Let's look this up together, Dad. You know?
Okay.
And yeah, it was a beautiful experience and a great memory.
So for you, it was a great memory.
I thought it was nerve-wracking.
Okay. So you found it nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I was not comfortable with it because, you know, if a doctor's telling you something, you don't want to tell the person the wrong thing.
Right.
Because that could be life or death, you know?
Fair.
So I'm like, listen, you have to find someone that can do this because I'm not comfortable with that. You know? And that's what made me want to learn more and embrace my Spanish, to speak Spanish. Tiene que aprender.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you have to, it's interesting though, and I wonder, because then you have to learn how to advocate at a young age for yourselves and your family members, because now if you don't feel comfortable, you have to be the one that's like, I don't want to translate this. Who else can talk? And like, you have to like be the one to advocate for that.
That's right.
Whereas, and again, this is just another conversation, more mainstream, like in general, what it's like to be a Latino who has individuals that speak multiple languages and then not having things in place where children should never have to be in a position to be like, I actually don't really feel comfortable translating for my parents. Can you please find someone else? And like, what does that look like as a kid? And how does that make you feel? But then also the beauty in that, like how amazing is it to stand in confidence and say, I'm advocating for my parents. I don't feel good about being the person to translate this. Can you please go find somebody that can talk to my parents about what's going on with their medical care?
I think that led me to the field that I was in because I was working for Head Start for 23 years.
I love it.
And, you know, we had immigrant children come from everywhere.
Absolutely.
You know, Spanish families and all that. And that's where I was more, I don't want to say forced, but I made it a point that I need to learn.
Absolutely.
Because I want to be able to advocate for my families and do it the right way. And when you seen that these parents would come to meetings and bring their children to these meetings, pregunta, ¿qué es eso? What is that? What is she saying? Or, you know what I mean? And you see the little kid, but it's also a light where you see that little kid, their light turns on and be like, oh, so you say that in Spanish? This is how you say it in English. So you see their little brains working, you know, and it's a beautiful thing that we're able to do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely.
That we can flip that switch
Think
like
with
that.
both sides, yeah.
So, you know, you embrace that. That's beautiful to me.
No, I agree, but it is. That's why I said it's a double-edged sword,
Yeah,
and I wanted to
double-edged
kind of
sword.
talk about both because there is something beautiful about doing that. But then, oh my God, the amount of responsibility and like the weight,
The stressors for the kids.
stressors of having to carry that.
My older siblings definitely went through that more with my
Okay.
parents. I'm the youngest. I'm the baby. So
Go
kinda
ahead,
when
baby
I
of the
started
group.
growing up, my parents like knew English more.
Okay.
So I saw my older siblings get annoyed,
See,
and they have a little bit of resentment.
towards the
One
parents.
of them had a little bit more resentment. I think just towards their experience growing up. Like they didn't really get their niñez. They didn't really get a childhood.
Yeah.
They had to grow up.
He had to grow up
fast.
so quick. Like, you know, just helping his little siblings do this, helping everybody understand this, helping this get
Absolutely.
translated, the immigration process of my parents.
Right.
So like I feel that it is a double-edged sword because and it depends on your personality type, right? Someone could have been like, Spunky, I'm excited.
Right.
And then versus someone else's personality type, just the way they were born, took it in a really not negative, for lack of a better words, way, you know,
Right.
that
Well,
experience.
and because at the end of the day, whether you have the personality, have excitement, or you're forced into doing something because it's a must, like at the end of the day, and again, that speaks to the uniqueness of what it means to be Latino in this country, right? It's an experience that not a lot of people get to even have because there's no choice into it. It's like this has to get
Right.
done. This is something that's needed. You as a person have an opportunity to find the joy in it and be excited and or just feel like it's a chore and it's something extra. No matter which way you look at it, like I don't personally believe either one is right or wrong because at the end of the day, it's something that technically should not be placed on a kid to begin with.
No.
But, and that speaks to, and we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but that
Right.
does speak to the greater, more systemic things that are in place that put you in positions to have to make these kinds of choices.
Yeah.
To be a kid, to have to do certain things, to grow up quicker and do things. And again, in my opinion, it's those experiences that do relate to why there's such pride in being Latino, because the reality is, I don't know a lot of people, right, in other walks of life that can handle some of the things that we've handled
That's it.
and still carry the pride that we do. But it's like you got to be loud and proud. You've got to, you know what I mean, stand up and like, yes, I'm
we want to
Latina.
be heard.
Well, because you
wanna
try
be
to
heard.
silence us to begin
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
Hello?
And then when they talk down on us, it's like, you really couldn't go through half of the shit.
Yeah.
Like
Hello.
you just said. Sorry, are we cussing?
Now you fine. Go ahead, girl.
I cuss like a trucker sometimes.
No, you good. But no, you're right. It's like if you knew what it means to like have to deal with just growing up in general, and then you add the stressors of having a family member who may not be able to communicate effectively or be able to do certain things, or realistically, there are a lot of things within just being an adult and just living where whether it's paperwork or, you know, registration for different things or going to doctor's appointments or, you know, registering for schools. They're like all the things that are just every day, having to be the kid that deals with it. You're the one that's being registered, but you're also the one that's filling out the paperwork for your parents to do so because you don't have a parent who can.
Right.
And there's no access, even though Spanish is like the second largest language in this country. Again,
Let's correct that. We're
I know that's
we're
right.
number one.
I know that's right.
We are the majority.
Amen.
we really
You're
are.
right, but I was trying to,
We are
you know.
the majority. No, that we
Speak it to
shouldn't
what
be
it is.
scared
Amen.
to say what it is.
Yes, I
And that's
know
why
that's
we're
right.
being affected today.
Yeah.
Because it's just not one. There's a bunch of us.
No, that's facts.
Okay.
That's facts. And it
So-
doesn't matter what part of the country you're on. We're
Stand on
everywhere
that.
and we are. So you're right.
And
like,
that's where the fear comes from. I'm sorry. to
no, you're
deflect.
right. Look, don't say sorry for spitting facts here. Let me
Yeah.
tell
Oh,
you.
geez.
Let's talk on
We
it.
come from all over.
Amen.
You know, there's Boricuas, Mexicano, Ecuadorians,
Panamanians, Mexicans, Dominicans.
So we're large. We're so many of us, and I think that's where the fear factor is coming in.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree.
And
I
that's
agree
what's
wholeheartedly.
happening to our people today.
Amen.
So we need to stand together and stop Cubans. Let's not forget.
Oh,
our
my best
fellow
friend's Cuban. How
Cubanos.
could I dare?
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know, and to me, these times are scary for our people.
Amen.
And instead of we all just need to stand together.
I love that meet, and that actually is like a beautiful way to bring it together, because I was doing my best to explain what the experiences are, but you're right, like especially in today's climate, it's a whole different world. Hence the reason why we're having the conversation that we're having, because again, my goal is it's still Hispanic Heritage Month.
That's right.
We are the number one, right?
That's right. That's right. You
Majority.
got it right. You
Amen.
said it right.
We are
this
the
time.
number one like population in this country. And at the end of the day, I believe in the importance of us celebrating one another, because no matter what, we're going to continue to be loud and proud. And regardless of what walk of life you come from, let us enjoy what it is, because you can move, you can do, you can put things in place, but you can't kill the spirit of a people.
And I was just about to say, like, how boring would it be if we didn't embrace our culture? Like,
Girl.
like, oh, they're too loud. Oh, this is that. It's just like, how plain do you want your life to be? Like, we're just so happy to be loud and to be proud of all the flavors and the smells that, you know. I'm thinking about food.
No, girl, we might have to go to eat after here. But like, now that brings me to a good and kind of pivoting, but not 100%. There's another area that I wanted to kind of talk into and get your perspectives on. And it's the idea of like the stereotypes that Latinas have, or Latinos in general, right? Like, what stereotypes about Latinas have you personally faced? Like the good ones and the not so great ones.
So we said earlier about not having a voice. And then you get the stereotype where if we voice anything, we're too loud. We're too ghetto. And it's not, I mean, as a Latina woman, it's heavy in that area. So sometimes I'll catch myself feeling like, okay, I think I need to be quieter. I think I need to be quieter in the workplace. I think I need to be quieter to, let's just say, someone I'm dating. I need to be quieter because, there's the stereotype that we're loud, we're ghetto, and, you know, like that one resonates with me. I mean, personally, I know that you guys probably feel the same.
Yeah.
But it resonates, and I just feel like sometimes, in the workplace especially, where I want to have a voice, sometimes I might hear from like another associate and they'll say, just careful because you don't want to say the wrong thing because then you're going to be under the microscope.
Oh.
And the fear.
Yeah.
And the stereotype then becomes my fear. You know? And lately I'm embracing it. I'm embracing the stereotype. Yes, I'm loud.
Right.
I am proud.
Yeah.
And here I am. I don't have nothing to hide. I am passionate. I think that as Latinas, we are very passionate people.
Agreed.
In many ways.
Amen.
People take it as we're being aggressive.
Yes.
No, I'm passionate. If I'm having a discussion with you, especially in the workplace, you ask for my input. I'm giving it. And now that when I'm telling you what the situation is, there's a problem because I'm being a bully or I'm being aggressive.
Girl.
No, I'm just passionate.
Right.
And I need you to see where my people come from and what we need you to understand.
I know that's right.
A real quick example of something that happened in the workplace years ago.
Okay.
You know, it's no longer something that's part of me, but I remember at the end of a certain term, they had said I was unapproachable.
Unapproachable.
It was listed
crazy.
on my internal resume as unapproachable. And it was because I was outspoken, and not negatively, but in a way that how my thoughts, I brought them to the table and how we could better our workplace and our area. And somehow someone reported that I was unapproachable.
That's crazy.
See, when people say that, what I go and I say, tell me how. Let me know.
Right.
Yeah. Help me understand.
And help me understand.
Yes.
Because I learned that's from them,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So what I've learned in the workplace, then I started applying that, Well, help me understand. How am I being aggressive? Because I'm telling you A, B, and C.
Right. Right.
I'm not being aggressive. I'm just passionate. I'm advocating.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anyone else have any other? I have a stereotype story, but I want to hear.
Well, just real quick, what you guys are saying, but outside of the workplace, I'm single, I'm dating.
Amen.
So the stereotype, of like, oh, you're spicy or you're saucy, I love it.
Me too.
I embrace it.
I know that's
Oh,
right.
are we all single dating?
Yes.
I'm good.
But like being out and someone saying,
Yeah.
like meeting someone for the first time, I'm like, yeah, you're right. So be aware, because if you can't take the spiciness from the beginning, I don't want to be around you.
I know that's
if you're
right.
getting a little bit, if I'm too much from the jump, let me just make sure I'm too much from the jump, so you know what's up. And then
She feeling it,
so
right?
right. So you don't got no problems later. No, you knew this from the beginning.
Absolutely.
I'm very spicy
I love it. So you embrace the spiciness
in the dating
stereotype
pool.
in the dating
Yes.
pool. We're having issues about the whole our loudness and our what is truly just being assertive being seen as aggressive and everything of that sort, right? And you've taken that and now you're looking at it like help me understand, and you're going against the grain on that. Now here's a stereotype that I experienced that I wonder if anyone else ever had. So my name is Lissette Gonzalez, right? That is my name. And I have had a lot of different professional experiences, backgrounds, things of that nature. So there's this one time, and it sits with me forever. And I sometimes wonder if I should have responded differently, like, but hindsight's 2020, right? So I was on the agenda to be a speaker on a panel of different things or whatever the case is. And I was going to an event, and we're just going to keep everything very basic just for the protection of everyone.
Right.
And I was a director for a program, and I was there to speak on behalf of, and I was going to, talk about the program and everything else. And after everything was done, I was approached by a older, we'll say that to give them an older individual of the white flavor. You know what I mean? And they were providing what was supposed to be a compliment, and yet it fell into a stereotype. The response that I received was how amazed and surprised that they were at how articulate I spoke. There was an assumption when seeing my name that I would have come in with a very strong accent, that I was going to be speaking broken English, that I wasn't going to be able to, if nothing else, there was an expectation that I wasn't going to be able to communicate effectively. And more so than that, the fact that I not only could speak good English, I actually could articulate myself in a way that this individual saw as surprising. I found myself in this weird situation where I'm like, thank you for what you believe to be a compliment, but also let me help you understand that while yes, my last name is Gonzalez, and yes, I'm of Latin descent, that by no means that I cannot put together sentences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard that one before.
Yes.
You're so well spoken.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For being Hispanic.
That was the part that got me. Like, yes.
Yes.
So
That hurt. And you just look at them, you're just like, thank you.
right.
Didn't want to correct them, but
And there lies the problem. So then that's the other part of the stereotype. Like, it's a stereotype on their part. You, of course, show that it's not one to be held to truth. And yet, that's where I always go back and forth, because in that moment, I responded very professionally. And my response was, I literally said, I don't know what you were expecting,
That's right.
That's a good response. Yeah.
but thank you so much for the compliment. But I left it very like, I don't know what you were expecting,
Yeah.
but thank you for the compliment. And then I'm like, should I have used it as a teachable moment? At what points are we going to, go deeper in the conversations? Do we continue to, not battle, that's not the right word, but, have like educating and having the conversations and like really advocating on behalf on like, yes, my name is this, but the fact that you made an assumption that because of this name, I would be coming in here with an extremely heavy and again, and even individuals like that, that's another stereotype we can break down. People tend to think that because you English is your second language and you have an accent, that somehow that is going to negate your like education level or your intelligence and your credibility. And it's like, again, far from the truth. We speak 2 languages at minimum.
Right.
Yeah. How many of you can say that? So yet again, these stereotypes, like we've got the fiery ones that are great and we can carry them with like sass and class. But then you also walk around thinking that I'm somehow less educated. Thoughts on?
I was always told I was rough around the edges.
Girl, bye.
I was always told I was rough around the edges. I said, well, I'm trying to figure out how to smooth it out, but what you see is what you get.
Girl.
What you see is what you get.
I know that's... Well, then how do we kind of like play with that? Like, how do we balance the fiery, you know what I mean, proud Latino stereotypes, but then also like our own unique like personalities, because we're not all the same.
Right.
We're not all going to have those same exact stereotypes, and yet there's still a little fire in all of us, I think. Like, I think we all got our own little sass in class.
I'm hoping that when that happens to me, the next time that happens to me, I'm sure that's happened to me before because it just feels so familiar, but the next time that happens to me, like, or any of us, we can just start spewing like all of our whole resume.
Girl,
like right in front of
part.
them. Yes, and I graduated with this, and I went to this, and this is what I did. And the last panel that I was on that I spoke, did you ever speak on a panel? How was your panel? Yeah.
I know that's right.
Like, I just wish that for us. Like, just let's go off.
Because then that's the other part. Because let me break down the accolades. Like, did you know that I graduated from here and I have a master's degree? And like, do we want to? But then again, why should we have to?
We shouldn't have to.
It's unfortunate,
but I love it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it's almost like anywhere you step, you have to read the room, and you have to know time and place. You know, is this the right area? Is this the right area for me to be able to conduct my true personality? You know, it's unfortunate because we go through that often, and if we don't box in the time and place,
that part,
we are unfortunately at risk because we are Latino, because we are Latina, at risk for being the first to be on the chopping block.
Right.
So that it's a sad truth and something that we shouldn't have to hold back on, shouldn't have to be quiet anymore about. We should be able to speak up, especially with what's going on in the country right now.
Girl.
And I'm going to take it a little bit controversial, even within our own people.
Honey,
like,
talk about it.
There are other Latinos who have assimilated, who have, put the suit jacket on, who have straightened their hair. Not that there's any wrong. We like sometimes straight hair, but just for, creative terms.
Just
yeah.
for content.
I understand. For you.
They have... I don't even feel like I can be my loudness Latina sometimes around them.
Right.
And I'm like, why are you showing up to these rooms trying to be like someone we're not? Like, I have a colorful skirt on, I have my earrings on, you have your beautiful earrings
Absolutely.
on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we want to show up loud and proud like we've been saying. And then there's other people that even look at like us that are Latina too, that are like, you didn't get the memo?
Ooh.
Or like, why are you making us look like that?
Right.
Or something.
I'm not a chameleon.
That makes me so mad.
I'm not a chameleon. I'm not changing, and no matter where I'm at.
I know that's
what you
right.
see is what you get. I've been like that all my life.
Yes.
And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, even in the work field.
Girl, you speaking to the choir right here. Let me tell you, or preaching to the choir, because let me tell you, I always say, like, I show up my authentic self no matter where I go. But that has also been, if I'm really, really, really reflective, an evolution. Because I remember a time when I was first going into my professional career, feeling a sense of need to straighten my hair, not lower my voice. I've always remained myself in rooms, but I have found times where if I want to be taken seriously, or if I want people to, you know what I mean, come under my authority, because I've been in like authoritative like positions and roles. If I want them to take me seriously and make, for the professional that I am, this is how I must present, right? And we're not going to go, we ain't got the time to go down all of those deep rooted reasons and you know what I mean? And like what really creates those thoughts in ourselves, which I think is what happens to a lot of other Latinos.
Yeah.
It's you find, there's a beauty of finding yourself and being comfortable in it and knowing that you can show up authentically yourself no matter where you are going. But that's an evolution. Because you have to first be truly, truly, truly comfortable with the person that you see in the mirror before you can have an expectation to present that same place in other places and spaces and expect other people to have that same regard for you. But like it starts within. And I think that there are a lot of people, a lot of Latinos in particular, especially because as we've been talking about from our childhood growing up, all of the different experiences that we have, they're each building blocks that, in my opinion, create those experiences that then start to like get into your own head and identity of this is how it's supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed, you know what I mean? From the times you're in school, from the times you're doing, like all of the experiences that you go through start to make you believe in your own, what am I supposed to do and how am I supposed to show up and what does that look like in the different rooms that I'm in? And I know that I like literally for like the beginning of my professional career, hair was one of them. And that changed for me when I went to a training done by the YMCA in Lancaster. I remember very vividly, it was like a 3-day training and it was a diversity training. And by day 3, I showed up with my hair curly based off of the work that we were doing and the things that we were having. And it was actually, and it's hair, guys, but it literally was the first time that I went to a professional room because it was a professional, like 3-day training. And by the 3rd day, I was like, I washed my hair last night and instead of taking the time to straighten it, I felt free to show up with my natural curls. And from that point on, I haven't put heat on my hair since. Like I've maintained my curls.
You have beautiful hair. Why would you?
That's right.
I love that so much.
But from a professional standpoint, I wasn't given the authority to show up in that arena, or so I didn't believe so. Because in the room, there were also like women, white women in particular, that were in the room. And when I shared how I went through that battle, there was a woman who had curly hair and she was like, what's crazy is I've never even thought about that. And it just shows that dichotomy that I'm sitting here wondering how I'm going to be perceived in professional rooms based upon what my hair looks like. And this other person, it was never even a thought that crossed her mind.
It's like straightening your hair, almost like if I straighten my hair, I'm going to be taken seriously.
Correct.
And that happens in a lot of dynamics, whether it's relationships, workplace, anywhere.
Right.
You know, you should straighten your hair more often. It looks really beautiful. You know, you hear that culturally. Generations before and even now, people are still straightening their hair.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with straightening your hair. Obviously, I love it. But
it's a deeper,
it's a deep rooted thing.
and that's why I shared that story, because I'm
It's like hide who you are.
Yeah.
It's hiding a part of you.
Hide your
part
identity.
of you. But and yet, and here's the crazy part of that, and yet during those years, I still was a proud Latina. There was nothing about me that I didn't feel like I didn't have pride. And yet I still had work to do within to like break through some of those deep-seated stereotypes that I didn't even know were even a stereotype. Like
I
hair.
didn't even know. You don't even know that they're deeply in there. Like you said, they're learned behaviors from our family. I dated someone and she would straighten her hair all the time. When I first saw it curly after a year, I was like, dude, your hair is gorgeous.
Right.
And she started doing her hair curly around her mom.
Okay.
Her mom pushed back so hard. Her sister, they would make fun of her. Era Dominicana. And I would hear, and they're like joking with them themselves. And they've kind of normalized the behavior of like making fun of each other. But I was so surprised. I'm like, no, your hair is gorgeous. And even her sister was so uncomfortable with that. So it was something that shocked me when I saw it.
Right.
But it's alive and well, and we don't even know it.
And as simple as just how your hair presents. And like you said, you were able to help her feel confident where she then tried to show up again, but then the family starts to push back. So then how do you like, when you're trying to like embrace all of you or different parts of you, but then your own family who again have deep-seated assimilation that they felt they had to do in order to survive in
We
this
have to
country.
educate them.
You gotta one by one.
Yep.
So how do we, as people in women, Latina women in today's society and climate, how are we breaking stereotypes and breaking that mound? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
So since I have children, what I have been doing is, so like looking back at what my parents taught me, you know, as far as where we came from and everything, I didn't quite know the history as well as I desire to know until I reached as an adult, and I'm like searching all over the internet and following pages. I mean, that's the way we are able to easily access history these days, right? So I look back and I'm just like, I'm going to make sure my kids know
Girl.
history, even the dark stuff. Even the dark stuff.
Amen.
You know, and I share that with them. And they're like, oh, that happened to our people? Yes, it did. And so then I've been breaking the mold within my children in hopes that they have that freedom to just be and to exist in their identity. And my youngest, it's so funny because when I used to straighten my hair, before a year ago, I used to straighten my hair all the time. Mom, why do you straighten your hair? Leave it curly. It's beautiful. Because I would say that to her. Mama, your hair is curly. It's beautiful. This is who you are. This is who God created you to be, and you're beautiful. And she's like, Mom,
I know
you
that's
gotta embrace
right.
your hair too. I said,
Noted.
You're
Student?
perfectly made.
yes, the student is
Now the teacher.
now the teacher.
I love that.
Yes.
I feel like for me right now, what that looks like is I want to return the education and the path that I'm unfolding right now for myself is learning my indigenous roots from Ecuador, from the Andes Mountains before colonization.
Ooh.
And my family, for a while, like, they don't understand this education because for us, like, assimilation was so important, colonization, right? That we forgot of our indigeneity and even like othered them, right? They're Indios. We're not. We're Spanish.
There's a separation.
My grandma would be like, nosotros somos blancos. We're white. I love her grandma. Mwah, mi Hortensia.
Yeah.
She's amazing. But yeah, for real. So there was that separation. So even right now, like when I get original, traditional like earrings or foods or even the language, Quichua, that I want to learn these words. And I
love
like our
that.
dresses
Right.
and our ceremonies. They do not understand. But I am breaking the mold
Yes.
by embracing all of my Latinidad, like we said, like even our indigenous roots, and diving in deep and bringing it to the table whenever I sit with anybody from my family, you know, little seeds, little here, little
I
there.
love that.
Yes.
What does that, and I want to hear your perspective too, Mita, but I have a follow-up for you in that, because I have conversations when it comes to like same concept, like when it comes to the history of Puerto Rico, when it comes to like our indigenous roots, our African roots, things of that nature. And I talk about that with family. What does that look like for you? Because I know that I've had different experiences with different family members. But again, I tend to try my best to lead with compassion.
Yep.
Because I know that is, again, deep-rooted. But how do you, and even like for other people that might be listening that are trying their best, because I do think that we're the generation that is trying to learn and go backwards so that we can teach the others, the next generations, better and have more pride from like not just Latino pride, but like truly who you are as a people. What does that look like? What does that mean? How are those conversations had at the tables that you're having with your family? Because that's hard.
It is. I used to be really emotional with it.
Okay.
Like, and I used to get very fiery, and it doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. You can't tell somebody they're wrong.
Right.
With compassion. So I think what I do now is I bring up the facts. You can't negate the facts.
Amen.
This is what was, this is what happened, and this is the outcome.
I know that's
So if
right.
we trace back from the outcome to what was, then you get to, the truth.
Right.
It is what it is. And so that's my angle, really. And I also always like throw in these seeds of of pride. I even have a poem that I call myself an India. So I'll use these terms around them with pride, though, not with othering or being even the curiosity. I have to leave it for my own educational purposes. When I show up there, I'm so proud about it. You know, like, I'm not like, what is this? Because then they'll come in with their opinion. I just sprinkle in I'm proud to be India. Look at my hair. Isn't it crazy? I love it.
I love
You know,
that.
or look, this word in Quechua. Did you guys know that we use it in our everyday? We didn't even know it was Quechua. We thought it was Spanish. And so I say all these things with a smile, with intention, with genuine. So I show up with this energy that even another person sitting across from me, they might be at least a little bit curious. They
I
have to
love
be.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So giving that, like, coming from a place of compassion and then just sprinkling in the education, but from a place of curiosity to allow them the opportunity to receive the information in a way that doesn't feel so forced, but then also just breaking the little, like, you're just cracking at the ice just little by little and allowing those places and spaces to kind of keep like showing up.
100%. And then you don't get drained yourself.
Amen.
Because
it can get.
You got to try to find common ground. That's what it is. You got to find, hey, this is what they did during your time. This is how it is.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's like just finding common grounds. And, you know, not trying to get back to the political thing of things again.
Girl, do what you got to do.
You know, like now, like I educate my grandchildren or I tell them, or even my own kids.
Amen.
Like, this is where we come from. You know, I try to go to Puerto Rico every 2 years, every 3 years. I try to go as often as I can. But this is what happened to our people. I said, my grandmom, she'll always say, I'm Taína. And I remember her taking us to the highest mountain where we touched the clouds, you know?
Yes.
And she would say, yo soy Taína. We're gonna see my Indian aunt.
Yes.
Like, and they were literally living like Indians up there. You know, this was in the 70s, but that never left me.
See, that's the thing. That agreed. Like, that's amazing to have that. So your experience growing up, y'all had like a really deep-seated root to just not only just having the pride when it comes to being Latina, but like you've had family members that were saying about being Taino and like really finding pride in that. I find that to be beautiful because a part of me feels like we see a lot of the contrary, where there's a certain level of, you know, somos Puertorriqueño, but like, you know, there's a level of like colonialism that comes with the Puerto Ricanness of it all. And again, that goes across all of Latin America. That's not just Puerto Rico alone. I love that your family instead sounds like they embraced their
my
Taino
Irizarry
roots.
family.
I
my
love
Irizarry
that.
side.
They embrace
that's
it.
where I learned everything from, was
I love
my
that.
Irizarry side. You know, where we lived in Puerto Rico, how they lived. You know,
Yes.
my grandfather always said, you know, how he say, they were like gypsies.
Okay.
They were gypsies because they lived from town to town because they had a circus.
Yes.
And his family, you know, he was more Spaniard. And so they were more richy. You know, they were the doctors, they were the lawyers. And my grandfather met this beautiful woman, which was a Taína Indian, you know, that she embraced her. You know, she was Boricua.
Yeah.
But, you know, he was disowned. There was a whole bunch of things. So when hearing my grandfather say these stories and how he loved grandma and he didn't care that she didn't know how to read, he read, he was educated, he had college degree. But he built his own little empire with his business and with the circus. And the circus was in a movie called the El Jibarito.
Which, okay.
And my father was in it. My tia Alma was in it. My grandfathers were in it.
Hold on now.
Yeah, like, so that's why I embrace my culture. And the movie is all in Spanish.
First off, we're going to have to put a link to this movie in the description and I need to watch it. So talk about the movie real quick.
My cousin Myra, she's the one who has the movie. I have a copy of it. I was trying to look for it on Amazon because that's where she found it, but it was in El Jibarito from 1969.
I love this.
Something like that. Well, anyways, when my grandfather was a part of that movie, with that money that he made, he was able to finally stand still and no longer have to
go from place
town
to place. So the whole
town to
gypsy
town.
life.
Yeah. You see my Tio Angel in the movies. There were so many people in there. So yeah, that's why I take pride of who I am, because I was able to see it, to feel it, to, you know.
Yes. Oh, that is, first off, we got to plug the movie because I ain't never heard it or seen it, but that's dope as hell. I don't know what. That's amazing. All right, well then we're going to try and because this conversation, we could keep going long times, long ways. Let's talk about our cultural traditions and how they shape us. Like, I know Christmas at minimum, we all got to have crazy, but how do our traditions actually shape us then? And what traditions do you guys love to celebrate and feel like those are your favorite parts of what makes you truly Latino?
The Christmas party on Christmas, the party on Christmas
Eve. Talk about it.
Because people don't do that.
Yes.
My friends were like, you party on Christmas Eve? That we're confused about that. So party on Christmas Eve, waking up Christmas Day. You brought up Christmas. So
yeah,
Christmas
I
Day,
threw that one out because I know we all got Christmas traditions. Yes.
Christmas Day, waking up at 11, calentado todo el día, the leftovers. And then, you don't even get pretty on the 25th. You stay ratchet. You stay ruggedy.
Yeah.
And you eat the food and you open the presents.
Eat and relax. Eat and relax. I know we do parrandas and things of that nature, which is the singing, and having everyone coming over or showing up from one house to another house. And we do the parranda thing at my aunt's house, and we have I'm talking crazy amount of people just singing, and we've got congas and the guiro and all the things, and the music's going, and I mean all of the different parranda music that they've got going on. I'm all for. Plena is a huge thing, and I love
the bomba, the plena.
Yes, bombas, plenas, that music. I live for my plena and congas, which that's why I love the news. Bad Bunny.
Yes.
But I ain't gonna say, we're gonna talk about Bad Bunny in a little bit.
I think food makes a connection for us at home. Yeah. Because we don't do the parranda as much as before, because that's phasing away. Mm-hmm. That's the part that's phasing away for us. Because my grandma, my father, because they were the musicians, they were all that.
Absolutely.
So that was my father's side. So my mom's side is more laid back. They don't do all that stuff.
Okay.
So it's and we celebrate the Dia de los Reyes.
I was just gonna say
Tres Magos. That's my birthday.
I love that.
Of course, the Three Kings, and tell that story. Okay. And that's the Puerto Rican Christmas.
I love that.
Yes.
That's the Puerto Rican Christmas.
Yes.
So we celebrate that.
So you keep those traditions alive. So far, Christmas all around the board is our biggest traditions. Any other traditions that anyone celebrates that are just familial? This is my family that yeah.
Noche de San Juan.
Hold on now, talk about it.
La Noche de San Juan. I don't know if you guys, okay. So in Puerto Rico, this is something that me and my daughter did for her. She said, Mom, I want to see a beach. I want to see a beach when she graduates. So I take her to Puerto Rico. We went to Puerto Rico. So happens, it was June 23rd or June 24th. And my girlfriend that we were staying with, we have to do the Noche de San Juan.
Okay.
And so we did. And so what happens is you go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Everybody are at the beaches.
Okay.
They camp out anywhere there's water. So at midnight, you get in the water and you dunk yourself.
No.
And you leave all the bad behind, I baptized myself.
I know that's
in the
right.
water.
Let it
When
all.
is that?
In the
When is
name of
that?
Jesus. But the Noche de San Juan. And it's in June 24th or 23rd or the 24th.
Okay.
So
I gotta
now
look
when
into
we go
this.
to Puerto Rico, I try to always make it to Puerto Rico around that time, so then I can show and have that experience with my kids.
I love that.
With my grandchildren, the younger kids, or whoever we're going with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, let's do this. Because the people, the natives to the island, they be like, no, don't celebrate that. Don't go,
Why not?
Because they're all in bed.
Amen. That's facts.
They're all in bed because, but when you go, you see people celebrate. I said, no, we're going to celebrate.
Yes.
That's how I learned it from there. And that's something that I want to keep.
I
Yes.
love
Maybe
that.
we can make a trip and go ourselves.
I ain't mad at
That's
that.
fire.
Y'all, we got it here recorded. That means let's say we're gonna make a trip. So ladies,
Shit, let's go.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say the El Dia de los Reyes is a big one in my family. I was very happy that my parents introduced it to us when we were kids. So we strayed away from Christmas a little bit. We didn't strongly celebrate Christmas anymore when I
Okay.
was a kid. So that was just a holiday. But then El Dia de los Reyes came, and the way that my parents taught me with, putting your slippers
The
out.
slippers out.
Yep.
Sally with
Hey.
the water, and here you have to grab grass, so you can't
Right.
grab, And I instilled that into my kids, and it's a tradition that I will always have. But yeah, that was one of my favorites. So
I love that. All right, so I could keep going. I had questions for days, ladies, but let's go talk about the lessons. Like, what lessons have you learned from family or community that you'll carry into like your adult life, and then also instill into your children as you grow on? Any lessons?
I feel like what I'm learning right now, it's like the real big importance of family. My
Amen.
family is so close, like tíos, tías, primos, primas, bisnietos, sobrinos, like everybody, second cousins, third cousins. No matter how long it's been since we've talked, if there's a family party, if there's a tía's birthday party, a celebration, if someone needs you, you show up.
Amen.
Yeah, that's it. Show up.
Like my family's always gonna be there. I'm never, like I know I don't talk to my cousins every day, my older like boy cousins, like we're real close. But if I need somebody, I know they're gonna show up.
Amen.
So family's real important.
Yeah. I feel like I similarly, again, mom's 109, dad's 1 of 10. And I will say the cousin unit is real and we are close knit. And like our family, it don't matter if people are having issues or if this happens, that happens. Like there's something about my family where it's like you put the BS to the side and you show up because that's just what family does.
That's
like
it.
there's a level of like unity that I believe. Another thing that I've learned, and this goes to what you were saying about Instagram and like the beauty of finding like different pages of like ancestral information when it comes to youth. Like I grew up saying bendición anytime I walk into anyone's house,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You say bendición and everything else. Did you know that comes from back in the day trying to find your people because of the fact that when they were over here, like you were saying bendición and asking for the blessings of the right people and ensuring that you were in safety and in spaces and places. Thank you, Instagram. Just saying. Wow. So bendición is another tradition I want to try to like start instilling. Like the idea of, because I think it's lost.
It
with
is
some
lost
people.
because my grandchildren aren't doing it. They're not doing it. And I'll be like, say bendición to abuela. Say bendición to grandma.
Yeah, which for those that don't know Spanish, bendición is basically blessings. And the concept is like anytime you go into somebody's house or you see an elder specifically, you're asking for the blessings from them to be imparted onto you. And you're requesting to have blessings.
Entonces ellos echan la bendición, which is Dios te bendiga.
Exactly. And they give you that blessing back, like which is Dios te bendiga equals God bless. Like, or God bless you to be, you know what I mean?
So it's interesting that you say lessons of, like what you take. And it's so funny because when I was young, my parents, they tried to teach me to say bendición, tía,
Absolutely.
tío. And I had the hardest time utilizing that word again until I became an adult. And now I'm like, it clicked finally. And everywhere, my family, bendición tía, bendición tío.
Yes.
Always making sure that I keep those traditions. And the other one is also because I remember when I went to Puerto Rico this year and I was like, oh my gosh, not that I forgot, but I walked into a restaurant.
Girl, I knew exactly what you were about to say.
And we were eating.
Yep.
And pasaron strangers.
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
like, buen
Buen
provecho.
provecho.
Yep.
And gracias. I was like, oh my, make sure I say thank you. But that's one thing, also another lesson that I'm also teaching my kids, bendición y buen provecho. It's a very respectful.
I love it. Any traditions, Leslie, you want to?
I love buen provecho so
Okay.
much. I think it's so important. But also like saying hi to everyone when you get into the room y dando el beso en la mejilla, like the kiss on the cheek. Like I think as teenagers, you kind of get annoyed at that and you're like shy, you don't want to go into a party and you just want to sit down. But now as an adult, I'm like, no, I want to like acknowledge everybody and like give them a hug, and it's like embracing them by kissing them on the cheek. I really want to
Show them love.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And again, that's across the board on all. It's a reverence and a respect that I think we show one another by doing things like that. It's like I see you, I acknowledge you, and you're giving them like a hello, like that.
And I respect you.
And I respect you.
I respect you.
That part.
Can I just say
Please.
something that's really beautiful?
Yes.
So when we talk also about lessons, okay, and how in the past, like where the era that I grew up in, where my parents didn't really talk too much about history. And when they saw that me as an adult, I embraced history so much that I would constantly bring up the conversations about history.
Absolutely.
I saw the light in their eyes, and they loved that we are embracing. We're backtracking. We're going back. We're like, we want to know everything. Tell us everything. Tell us every tradition. Tell us all about the history. What did your family do? Because there's a registrar.
Amen.
There's a
Yes.
registrar of I'm just going to go back to Puerto Rico, what every Puerto Rican had as far as a job, a registrar when they became citizens.
Really?
There's a registrar.
I didn't
You
know
have a carpintero, you had shoe shiners,
Yeah.
you had sugar cane workers,
Yeah.
you had seamstresses, and then of course they were designated by male and female.
Right.
So like I learned all of that like recent
I
recent
love this.
years. And it's just like when I talk to them about it, they're like, yes, and your grandfather did this, and your grandmother was a seamstress. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So seeing those things light up in them as well, knowing that we are wanting and desiring to cling to history is just like more motivation to just keep that
I
going.
love that.
And in order to, sorry, real
No,
quick,
please,
in
I
order
love
to-
this.
To do that, you need to continue having conversations. Like me with my mom as I'm getting older, like being in the kitchen with her, talking on FaceTime right now. We live in different states, like creating the space for those conversations to come up. Because they don't always come up interview style.
Right.
They don't. They
Right.
come up in typical conversations. So you have to even create space for those conversations to even occur.
Absolutely.
And being really present minded, not distracted or busy in our brains, but just being in the moment, cocinando, cooking, or doing whatever activity that our parents or grandparents are doing, and then just being there with them.
Amen. Girl, ladies, I can continue this. I'm trying to so thinking about the future, right? Because we're at a point now where we've really discussed, and I feel like you guys have beautifully articulated all of the things that it means to be Latino, the stereotypes, the pride, should I say, the way to go about things. Those things are great. Now, let's think about what we want to see moving forward. We've talked about going backwards, about, changing the conversations, about really embracing not just the colonialism and the colonization of our families, but looking into the indigenous and everything else. I want to ask, what changes would you guys like to see in how Latinos are represented in media, politics, leadership? We ain't got to go too far. I know it's a crazy time, but what changes would you want to see? Because again, you two in particular, Mita and Nina, you have children, you got grandchildren at this point of Latinos that are growing up in a different world and a different space and place. What representation do we want to see moving forward? How do we want that to look as we continue? Maintaining the same pride, of course, and yet.
Well, I actually love that we are just starting to see the representation in politics.
Girl,
We got
AOC.
we got AOC.
I was like, AOC.
And we're just starting to see that. So it's like we're sharing with our children, grandchildren, that hey, this person is Latino. This person's Latina. Did you know that? And look at what they do.
Absolutely.
So just to know that we're not a small people. We're not hiding in the nooks and crannies of your panaderias and your taquerias or your little restaurants. We're not just in those little corners.
Amen.
We are taking up space, and I would love to continue to see that. And I want to keep encouraging my kids to embrace it so that maybe one day they can take the stand.
Amen.
Have the pulpit, whatever it is, but being able to shine more. So I would love to see that more. It's like we're just on the brink. And I feel like, unfortunately, with what is happening, it's almost as if unfortunately, there's a bit of
there's a pushback, as they expect.
They're trying to hold us back.
Yeah.
And I think that you can only hold a people back so far before we truly
We're
break.
resilient people. We've been through it all. We've been through a lot of things.
Break the walls.
And you hit on something about the taquerias and all those things. But those people that work those taquerias are the people that are representing. We need more of
Amen.
those up there representing.
Yes.
Yes.
Because then they'll know our hardships.
Yes.
we fought the battle to keep on, and we're going to continue to fight the battle.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's not over.
Absolutely.
It's not over. They might try to put the fear factor in us, but we're going to stand strong. And that's why all Latinos, it don't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter. We need to stick together.
Girl.
And it doesn't matter what party you're on,
That part.
Yeah.
right? Leave that alone. We don't care. They're trying to bring division.
Yes.
And
It's
we need
easier
to bring
control.
unity.
Like, we have to remember, it's easy to control the people when the people are divided.
Right.
So it's real easy to create divide, right? Whether
Right.
it's something as simple as like party and things of that nature, because that is an easier person that you can control. A people divided is a people controlled.
Right.
Now, if we do choose to recognize that we have more in common than we do what separates us,
Yes.
and we choose to stand true in our own truth and pride in who we genuinely are in our roots and our ancestry, then there's a hope for what can be, in my opinion. But I think that at times, and we talked about this throughout the entire thing, the deep-rooted issues, the self-doubts, the assimilation of wanting to be a different person because you want to ensure that there's safety and community within the new land that you're in, can at times create an unnecessary division where there's more a likeness in us, no matter what part of the diaspora you come from or what part of like Latin America you are.
Right.
If we embrace those things, we're stronger. But it's much easier to control people when you have them divided and when you have them second guessing their own roots and going to like somos blancos, somos, you know what I mean?
And that's what I was going to say. Like, I think what'll help us all come united is, beyond our differences and our uniqueness, which is beautiful and should be celebrated, our diversity, is knowing who and what the real enemy is. Instead
Talk
of
about it.
pointing at each other, like
Yes.
the real enemy is oppression. The real enemy is imperialism. The real enemy is fascism. And so when we know these things, we now can come together as a people and say, what is our truth? Who are we when we're not trying to be controlled and oppressed? And then celebrating that. What I want for the youth and for the future is truth.
Amen.
Learn the history, learn the dark parts, and talk about it. I don't go anywhere about like, with Latino celebrations and Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations, I try my best to always show up and talk about our indigenous roots.
Amen.
Because Latinidad can be so whitewashed and so washed over of our colonization of who we are. And so, when we remove that, we get to talk about our Andinos and our Tainos and our mountains and our beaches and our foods and how we cooked over the fire and how we baptize ourselves in the ocean. That could be seen as scary, as brujeria.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But this was our roots before they came and tried to conquer and control us. So I want the truth to always be spoken, never be scared of really finding out those dark parts of history and just speaking up against it and bringing a light to it all.
I love that. Oh, that is beautifully said. Well, then I'm going to do my best to try and like bring this all together and wrap up this amazing and beautiful conversation. And so my last two questions are more advice, okay? So the first, and I want whoever wants to start and just go down the line, looking back to your own experiences and your own upbringing and your own just personal life experiences, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I would say embrace your culture. Learn that Spanish. Don't wait till you're older. You know what I mean? Like I did that. And sometimes I feel like, man, I could speak Spanish better. But the people that I serve and the people that I help, they'll be like, nope, you're doing it because what's showing is love. And we know you're coming in here with love. You're supporting us. You know what I mean? So I would say to younger self, see, I come from a different era.
Yeah.
And so I had a different lifestyle. Like I am rough around the edges.
Girl, you great.
You know what I'm saying? But I am. I will embrace that. But I learned to smooth certain things out. But I also wanted to keep some of that. So it's like, just love where you come from. Educate yourself. Education. Education is power.
Amen.
And I wish I would have done certain things differently.
Yeah.
So just educate yourself, educate where you come from, learn about your roots.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Don't let our history be forgotten because they're trying to erase it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Who wants to go next?
I love that. I would say for my younger self, like, embrace your weirdness.
I love it.
You know, intersectionality is so important. Like being a queer Latina
Absolutely.
woman, a queer, creative Latina woman who's a poet, you know, and a yoga teacher. Like,
She does all the things, guys.
Well,
all the
it's
things.
just weird, right? Like, so embrace all of the parts of you, and don't try to be like anybody else.
Amen. I love it.
I would say to my younger self that it is okay to be loud and to embrace the stereotype, because honestly, I love being loud and I love being who I am, and I don't need to hide. So don't hide.
I love
That's it.
that. All right. And so then my last question, before then, I want each one of you to also talk about the amazing ventures and things that you guys have going on, because it's amazing, guys. Like, these are, you already know that they're dope women in real life based off of the conversation, but they're also doing amazing things. What message of hope or empowerment do you want anyone watching or listeners, especially Latinos in particular, to take away?
Message of hope for a Latino community is that we are not forgetting our history.
Amen.
We are ingraining that into our children and our grandchildren, and not to worry, because we will not be forgotten and we will grow stronger.
I love that.
You can always leave the country. Listen,
Say it again for the people in the back. Say it again for the people in the back.
Proponent of, like, if they don't want us here, like, why are we trying to be here so bad? And that's coming from a place of privilege also. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I know that comment is coming from a place of privilege. But for those who can, like, explore your options. United States isn't the center of the world, as many people think. You know, as a GOP, you know, highest GOP of the country, of the world. I get that, but we can go elsewhere.
I know that's right. She's like, guys, it's okay to have a passport and go ahead and venture out.
Bounce it out.
That's it. I say, go for what you want.
Amen.
Go after it. Don't be scared. Face fear and face it.
Yes.
You know, if someone's telling you no, just go. You know, in my life, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Why can't I? God put that thing in my head. That's
For
a
a
gift that
reason.
he gave me. So that's how Evie's balloon creation came about. You know, I knew I
Yes.
wasn't going to do certain things. So just embrace it. Whatever, like Lissette, your show.
Oh,
That was a little thought,
yes.
right?
Yes, it was.
And you didn't let fear get in your way, right?
Girl, not at all. And not even the naysayers, even family members who have been like, and I've had people who have literally said to me after, like, I am so sorry for even telling you not to or don't or whatever the case is. Like, do what you feel
Just
like
do
you need
it.
to do. Yes.
Just do it.
I love this. Oh, I love this. Well, before I continue, you, Miss Leslie in particular, you have a book that you've literally written. She already kind of threw out there, guys, that like she's a poet. She's got things. She's been doing her ancestry. She's been looking into her roots. And out of that was birth. Talk about it and let's show it.
So this is literally my proudest moment. I self-published a book called called Journey to Freedom through Delightful Books, which is our self-publishing service that we offer folks. But Journey to Freedom is literally me trying to share my journey from girl to woman. There's some poems in here that are bilingual. There's some that are just in Spanish. And it's really me like navigating what it means, this intersectional being of like being queer, being Latina, and being a woman and being a young woman. You know, I grew up in a patriarchal household. What does that even look like? So, you know, that's why also this is such an empowering conversation, because we want everybody to not stop talking.
Right.
And this is me saying my story will never be erased, ever.
Amen.
So thank you. Yeah, Journey
No.
to Freedom.
Absolutely. And while we're already on you, that's what I was gonna say. While we're already on you, talk about what we got coming up and the things that you guys are doing and all just the amazingness of this, your co-founder, and what Raíces Creativas is and what you guys are trying to do in the area.
Thank you so much. First of all, appreciate that. Raíces Creativas, I co-founded last year with other Latina entrepreneurs and creatives. And it was our space. We didn't feel like sometimes we belonged in these Latino networking spaces. Like I said, sometimes they were too assimilated. And I'm like this weird, queer, loud Latina.
I love
and
it.
I love the word weird. I love using it.
Yeah.
And so we created this, and we do events every Hispanic Heritage Month. We're turning into year-long programming. And our last event for 2025 Hispanic Heritage Month is in 2 days. It's on Sunday, October 5th. I don't know when this will be streamed.
I was gonna say it may be streamed a little after, so guys, I apologize if
So
you
you
didn't
might
see
be
it.
seeing this
but
after. Café
I was
con
gonna
pan
say,
happened.
but for the future.
Yeah, you can follow us on Raíces Creativas
There you go.
717 and join our events, and yeah, just get in contact with other creative entrepreneurs. And I want y'all to get
100%.
involved with Raíces Creativas
Yes,
too,
no,
and see
yeah.
what can come about.
I'll be there Sunday.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a thing. And now, Miss Mita, talk about what you got going on, and then I'm gonna close it out with you, and then I'll do my key takeaways. So, Mita, what?
Well, I'm a balloon creator.
Yes.
I love to do specialty balloons. They're mainly the things that I love to do. I also in the venture of getting my safe serve, my managerial safe serve, to hopefully in the near future have my own something going on in the kitchen.
I
Mita's
love it.
Kitchen. I cook Caribbean food, Latino especially. And I pull from different things. You know, Mexican. I love Mexican. I always said if I wasn't Puerto Rican, I would want to be Mexican.
I know
I
that's
love
right.
I always said that. And,
Yes,
you know,
and
I'm a chaparra. I'm a chaparrita.
I
You
know that's right.
So,
Look,
yes,
she's
that's what I have. That's what I have going on. So,
I love it. And Nina, talk about your photography because you don't talk about it enough, my dear. So let's talk on it, please.
It's time to talk about it more.
Yes.
So I have a small business, a Creative Chris Photography. I've been doing it for the past 7 years. And interesting enough, it's like it's I do this on my own.
Yeah.
And then I will do family photography, weddings, and what I love the most about what I do is I like the entertainment piece. So I have like a photo booth and my camera, and like we're going back and forth and just creating beautiful memories for people. I love doing quinceañeros. It's one of my favorites. But yes, so that's what I do.
So now it's my time to do my key takeaways from this amazing conversation with these beautiful, beautiful Latina women. And I mean, the conversation went everywhere, guys, as y'all saw. Like, we've talked about everything. But when it comes to my key takeaways for today, the one key takeaway that I'm going to say, and it was something that we discussed early on, which was, and actually we talked about it from the beginning and we discussed it again here towards the end, which was the idea that there's more alike than there is what separates us. So just hold pride and space for the fact that you're Latino to begin with, right? Like, we are stronger together as a people, and let us continue to embrace one another and celebrate what makes us who we are as a culture. The second key takeaway that I want to say when it comes to that is when it comes to stereotypes and things that people try to put on you because they want to dim your light or shrink you as an individual, make that what stands out. Leslie has said to her, like earlier on, about, you know, being fiery and being sassy. And if you can't accept it from the beginning, it is what it is. And Mita talked about being rough around the edges and things that people said about her. But at the end of the day, she embraces who she is. And Nina has talked about, you know, the fact that people said that she was aggressive and she was, you know, unapproachable, which if you learn and get to speak to her, you know is so far from the truth. And yet each one of those stereotypes, if you turn it around and you embrace those things to be, no, I am assertive in my communication. I am passionate in the way that I show up to places and spaces. I embrace the fact that I am going to hold space and hold you accountable to the things that you say. So that's not aggression. That is me holding you accountable to the things that you say. It is okay to do that and show up and make space where people try not to allow you to be. My third key takeaway is to take time to learn your history. Let us let go of what has always been said. It is, and this is just what it is. And let us start to make room for learning, growing and understanding not just who we are as Latinos, but the indigenous parts and aspects of that. Let us go back and really understand the roots of everything that makes us beautiful. Because when you know better, you do better. And when you understand all that is you, it allows for even more pride to show up. And my final key takeaway from today's beautiful conversation is just to say, Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. We here, and can't nobody anywhere tell us that we need to go anywhere from here. Unless, like Leslie said, you choose to leave. And that is perfectly okay. But at the end of the day, we're here. We are a majority. We are loud, proud, and beautifully made. And so that's it. So as always, guys, sending light, sending love. Let us continue to celebrate one another. Let us continue to grow this beautiful space and community that we have here. And for the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Bye.
Wepa.
Wepa.
Chucha.